Hello friends, so welcome to back my channel Animal Technical. I'm back again with new session on Taco Desktop Part 2. Before starting the session friends, if you have not subscribed to my channel Animal Technical till now, so please subscribe to my channel Animal Technical and like this video. I hope you all friends are good and fine. आप सभी लोग अच्छे होंगे. So today actually it is second part of Taco Desktop. In previous session I delivered with you all about how to install Docker Desktop on Windows machine that means your laptop PC, and about interfaces on Docker Desktop because this is a particular for Docker and it is a GUI application, graphical user interface. So I told you about interfaces on Docker Desktop, like how to pull an image, how to create a container. So today I will share with you how to create a container using a CLI command level interface. This is our session main agenda. And also in previous session, I told you that about Kubernetes and Docker desktop. Uh, Today I will also tell you about the same. So then there are two topics. First one is about container. I will create a container and will run on Docker desktop, but not using GUI interface. I will run this container. I will create a container using CLI. So guys, you can think one question can trigger in your mind because this is a GUI based application, a platform. So how it is possible? I will create a container using CLI command level interface. Yes, of course it is possible. That's why am going to share a session about this. So let's start. So friends, this is our Docker desktop. I have already opened it on my machine, Windows machine, and you can see. So in last session, that time I could not install Kubernetes successfully because there was some problem. Right now, it has been successfully installed on my Docker desktop. So once it will be installed on your Docker desktop and machine, it will reflect, it will show like this. So it is showing engine is running. Engine means Docker. So this icon is for Docker and this icon is for Kubernetes. So you can see when you go on this, when you click on this, you can see here it is showing here Docker engine is running. Engine is running. That means Docker engine is running. And when you just move this mouse on this icon, that means Kubernetes is running because both are in green state. You can see here. And also, if you want to see here from setting icon, you click on here. You can see enable Kubernetes enable and show system containers advanced. So show system containers advanced, it means show Kubernetes internal containers when using Docker command. So actually it is telling about these containers. So once you will install Kubernetes on Docker desktop, by default these containers will be create and running state on this Docker desktop platform. If you want to see, let me delete all these containers. I will select here because this is a GUI base. So I will select all the containers and delete it. Delete these containers. So what message is pop up? What message pop up that the following containers are selected for deletions. Before is deletion these containers, let me tell you, all these containers, when we will create, we will run Kubernetes on Docker desktop platform, all these containers will be created automatically. These containers are not created manually. So once we will delete the containers, just it is not for like it is just for to share with you what the concept, what the like why these containers are manually, why these containers are automatically created. So if we will delete these containers, so automatically all these containers will be created again. So delete forever. You can see here. All these containers are deleted. Once again containers are creating and running state. I just told you it is not about our legend agenda uh, factory. So let me delete this. So interfaces, I believe you already know, friends, because in last session I told you this is container. It is for images. It is for volumes. And some new feature introduced in Docker Desktop, Docker Scout Learning Center, where you can learn what is container, multi-container application, how do I container run, resist your data between containers. So first what I told you when I started this session, in previous session, I told you how to create a container on Docker desktop. So, but today I will share with you create a container, but not using this graphical user interface. So friends, in Windows, we know one software, you can say one application is installed on Windows that is called Window PowerShell. So let me open that. This Window PowerShell. Okay. So first, let me show some commands. So I will create a container or this Window PowerShell here, and that created container will reflect on this Docker desktop. I will create a container here using command CLI base. But this container which will be created in upcoming earlier time, this container will reflect here in this. So before starting this, I can share, I can uh, means you can see here all these containers are running by default. Okay. So I will create a manual container. I will create a container and it will reflect here. Okay. And also you can see here in images, these images are by default images. Okay, so let me delete this unused even image. Delete. Okay, it is in use. Okay, then. So I will create a container using Apache HTTPD image. So which is for web server. So I will create a container. You can say I will launch a web server, web application using HTTPD image. So it will reflect here in this. Okay. So friends, what is the command for to run a container on Docker engine? Simple, it is Docker run interactive mode or detached mode. So Docker run, and that is detach mode hyphen name. The name whatever you want on edge, you can put here. Let's save. I will put the container name web server because I'm going to launch a web application using Apache server, web server, and image will be HTTPD. But friends, I will add one more thing because this is a web application based container. So I will expose port as well. So hyphen p and host port. Let's say I will use 80. Okay, and that container port. So guys, HTTPD works on port number 80. Then image HTTPD and okay. Once I run this command, I will run this command docker run hyphen td detach mode hyphen name web server, that is container name, then port expose 80. It is host port and its container port and this image. So image of container will be HTTPD. Once I will run this container after successfully run this command, you can see here one image will be added here as a HTTPD name and one container will also in create here on this application. As I remember, as you can see, I am creating this container CLI based, not graphical user interface. So this is very interesting. I will create a container CLI based, but it will reflect here on this platform because this is the logic concept behind that. Because you actually we installed this Docker desktop on our machine, Windows machine. That's why a window PowerShell, using window PowerShell, it is possible to create a container by CLI, which will reflect here on this Docker desktop application. So let me hit this command, run this command. So you can see unable to find image. Okay, so open that image. I will show you here. You can see here once it will be successfully run this container. So here it will show HTTPD image on this image icon on Docker desktop. See, as I told you earlier, once the container is successfully has been created, that is container ID, you can see here HTTPD. Now it's visible under this image option, image icon, because HTTPD has been successfully pulled from Docker Hub to this Docker desktop platform. Also, if you go on this container icon, so you can see as I set the container name. I defined the container name while I created this container web server. So you can see here web server container has been successfully created on Docker desktop and it is also in running status. So friends, our first agenda is successfully completed because this time I did not create a container using GUI interface. I created a container using CLI, command level interface on Windows PowerShell. So as we know friends, this is the Apache server and so once you click or on your container, and open this localhost. Might it will take some time. Yes, you can see it works. So it is simply if you create a container, if you created a container uh, using Apache image, Apache server image, and once you open that host port where you have exposed the port number of that host that we are talk. If you're talking about host, that is your window machine, you are your physical server. So host, if you put here colon 80, the same output should become because localhost. So your it is machine, it works. That means Apache server is successfully running. Guess, is it possible to change this on this web application, this content? Yes, it is possible. So let me show you as well. And I can show you on both using Docker desktop, a platform, as well as command level interface. Because I am on right now created a container and window PowerShell. So let me show you why it is showing here it works. What is the concept behind this? Is there any configuration file for this container HTTPD? Yes, it is. So how? So first, let me connect that container. Yeah, you can say let me uh, 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 enter in the container to run in the command in container actually. So Docker ps -a. So all these containers which you are able to see here, these containers are actually these, including the web server which I just earlier created and other defaults container. So that is container name which I just created. So as you friend remember if that what is the command to connect your container from your host machine? So q docker execute -interactive mode, that container name and that bin bash. Yes. Now you can see you have access your container because on your container I actually created a container using HTTPD server, HTTPD image. That's why it is showing here Apache 2. So do not get it confused because this container is running on HTTPD image. That is for web server. HTTPD that I'm talking about Apache. That is, it is showing here Apache 2. So first let me update this machine, update this container, apt update -y. Apt upgrade -y. Okay, control L. So there is one file, htdocs. There is one file. Yeah, you can say directory. It is actually directory, not file. So change directory, then htdocs. Wait, so now I am in directory htdocs. Let me fire the command ns list. So there is one file index.html. So let me open this file. So in Linux, if you want to open that file, so cat index.html. Now you can see here that is HTML body. It works. That's why the reason when you open that host machine, and when you open that, when you actually open that container using host machine port, so it is showing here it works. If I change the content here, if I will change the content here which is written here, so of course it will be changed as well, because I am using where I actually localhost .80. That means the container which is running on the Docker desktop and your engine, Docker engine. Okay, the container which is running on Docker desktop, I will expose the port of that container using host port. So let me change this content here. So what is the process to change the content of here? So cat index.html. But let me like write something. So okay, if I like welcome to Nirmal Technical, enter Control Z. Now guess what will be the output here? I will not say anything. It will just reflect and you will see. It works, and welcome to Nirmal Technical. I can do the same thing on Docker desktop. How? Okay. How it is possible? Okay. So friend, you can see welcome to Nirmal Technical. What I just changed here content on the HTML body. Now let me show you how I can do on Docker desktop as well. So go on container, that one is a web server, and there is one option show container actions and view files. In files, you have to go actually var file, then local. Hmm. No. Yeah, this one file. It is not very typical. It is a simple thing. If you see the file path, so root path directory, USR, then local, then Apache 2, then htdocs, then index.html. The same thing need to follow here. USR, that file, then there is local. Okay, you can see USR local, then Apache 2 file path, then Apache 2, and you can see here Apache 2, then htdocs. So here htdocs, and now you can see here index.html. If you want to open this, you double click here. Yes. So you can also modify the content here, and it will be reflect on that your web server, web application. So if I will remove this content from here, just copy this, just mention here. Let's say Welcome to web server. And here you can see the one option save changes. Now guess friends, what will be the output of this web application? Yes, welcome to web server. So this is not kind of magic anything. It is just like logical way. It is a Apache server container. So when you run any container HTTP Apache image, so this is for web application. And I shared with you how to how you can modify that index.html file on Docker desktop. You can also modify using CLI, what I shared with you from here. And if you want to change this content, if you want to change this content, not connecting container, so it is also possible. It is also possible. Okay. So I told you both things about the Docker desktop, we how we can create a container CLI based, and it will reflect on Docker desktop. So the concept behind this I already told you, because this Docker desktop is running on your Windows machine, and PowerShell, once you run this command, when you open this window PowerShell, so it is connected. There is a communication connection stabilized between Docker desktop and Windows PowerShell. So also now let me second let me share with you about second part about uh, Kubernetes. Okay. So if you run the command kubectl get nodes, you can see here that node name, that is it is for Kubernetes Docker desktop, because Kubernetes I have installed on Docker desktop platform. That's why it is showing here nodes name Docker desktop, status ready, control plane, and version is v1.27.2. Now I will create a pod. I will create a pod on this window PowerShell. So as we know, friends, if you are in Kubernetes cluster, for create a container, actually we do create a pod. We cannot create a container directly on Kubernetes cluster. Okay, because now I am going to create a container, actually a Kubernetes, because here Docker desktop and Kubernetes node both are the same platform. So if you want to run the container using Docker daemon, Docker engine, so Docker run, you can fire the command. If you want to run the container using kubectl, that means on Kubernetes cluster, so the command is kubectl run and detach mode and that pod. That means the pod name. Simply I will here put test pod and that image. So hyphen image, what I am going to use the image. Let's say Ubuntu. So first I will show you, is there any image for Ubuntu is running here? No, you can see no Ubuntu is here on this Docker desktop. So kubectl run detach mode test mode hyphen image equal to Ubuntu slash bin slash bash. What the problem here? TD. So let me run interactive mode. So friends, you can see I create actually pod, test pod, and image is equal to Ubuntu and bin bash. So now we have directly connected to the container test pod. Because friends, in Kubernetes cluster, when actually once we create a pod, so if we create a pod using CLI, not using any YAML file or JSON file, so what will put the name of pod? So the container name will be the same actually. So we have connected that test pod, that means container. So let me exit out this. So if we run the command kubectl get pods, you can see one test pod which I earlier just created. Kubectl run hyphen interactive mode test pod, that image equal to bin bash, the command, bash command, scripting command, and status is running what time. So it is just 8 seconds ago. No, actually 82 seconds ago. Now you can see here one image, Ubuntu. Now Ubuntu image has been actually created on the Docker desktop, which was not just what I shared with you, what I just showed you, showed you just earlier, that Ubuntu was not on our desktop Docker desktop platform, but right now it is available because we actually just create a pod using Ubuntu image. And now there should be one container test pod on Docker desktop. Yes, you can see here. Kubernetes that test pod and image is equal to and status is running. If I will stop this, if I will delete this pod, so cube ATL delete pod, that pod name, so test pod. So all these containers will be deleted here. Once it is successfully deleted, on this you can see here. Now it is deleted. So it is showing here no resources found in default namespace. Because the reason behind that, I just deleted the pod which I just earlier created. That's why it's showing here no resources. So it is also here you can see now no any pod is running. Yes, you can see all the pods. Actually, one pod I just created, which is right now deleted. So you can see here in container that test pod is already here. Already now it is not available here on this Docker desktop platform. So actually, what was the agenda this session actually? So I told you that this is a GUI-based application. So if you want to create a container, so you can create a container using image. An image, what how you can create an image? So you just need to pull the image using this Docker desktop application. So let's say what I told you, what I said with you in previous session. If you want to delete also these images, so let I will show you both way. I will create one image using the Docker desktop application. I will delete the second image using CLI interfaces on Windows PowerShell. So let me delete this image. Okay, I cannot delete this image because you can see here this image is actually using in one container. Okay, so let me delete this container first. Now it will be able to delete this image as well. There will be no problem. I am damn sure. Yes, this image is deleted. Now, second image, I will not delete from this Docker desktop platform. I will delete this image from Windows PowerShell. So Docker command is Docker images. Okay. Ubuntu. So what is the command to Docker? What is the command to delete any image from Docker engine? So Docker RMI and image name Ubuntu. See, I will delete from here. It will be deleted as well here because that actually the Docker desktop which we have installed on Windows platform. Windows. That's why if I do any activity using the PowerShell or the Docker desktop, the operation will be same for both. So once I will deleted this image from Docker desktop, a Docker engine using command interface on Windows PowerShell, it will be not available from here. This you can see here, it deleted. So friends, hope you enjoyed this session. Uh, one more thing, this was the last session about Docker and Kubernetes. In next session, I will deliver, as I told you in previous, that I will deliver a very important topic about Chef server. So Chef server is actually software configuration management tool. So it is very important. I am going to share in upcoming session about Chef server. This is what this was actually last session, and it is once I will upload this session, it will be named as a Docker desktop. Second part, I told you keep take a summary about this session. So I told you, I shared with you how to create a container on Windows PowerShell and synced with Docker desktop application. I also shared with you that Kubernetes just create a test pod on Windows PowerShell Kubernetes, and it will it reflected here on this Docker desktop, and that container which I created actually Docker engine web Apache server, and also I shared with you how do you modify your index.html file to reflect the change the content on web application. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And you like this video and enjoy this session. Bye bye. Take care.